NXT took place last night from its home at Full Sail University, and this was the go-home show to the Royal Rumble and Worlds Collide, because there's about 10 NXT wrestlers in the Rumble, and there's Worlds Collide, which is NXT versus NXT UK, which is on Saturday night. So you start the show off with the Undisputed Era making their way to the ring. You have a tag team match, which is a Dusty Rhodes Classic semifinal matchup. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly taking on James Drake and Zach Gibson, and Strong and Cole were with them. Very good matchup here. Went for a while. Good match. I enjoyed it. Crowds into it. They always do well. They always deliver on NXT. The match quality is really superb. It's absolutely fantastic. Imperium comes to the ring, which is a surprise. They shocked the Undisputed Era, and then James Drake pins Kyle O'Reilly after it's a ticket to Mayhem, and they win. So James Drake and Zach Gibson win thanks to Imperium, and they get the revenge for what happened at NXT UK TakeOver. So sets up Undisputed Era against Imperium this Saturday night at Worlds Collide. Can't wait for that. After the match, they complain about what happened. And then we go to video package for Rhea Ripley and Toni Storm, and who will meet for the NXT Women's Championship Saturday night. And the winner faces Bianca Belair at the TakeOver Portland show in February. They go backstage at Shotzi Blackheart. I believe it's with Kathy Kelly. She says people are talking about her because she eliminated Shayna Baszler. That is what she does. She can't out-crazy Shotzi Blackheart. She has a devil-may-care attitude and a big pair of cojones. And she says she'll beat Shayna. She did not. Next, we go to Io Shirai against Toni Storm. I love both of these. They had a rematch of the Mae Young Classic when they wrestled at Evolution in a couple years ago, I believe. It was a very good match, and Toni Storm won the match. Both of them are very talented. I'd love to see them have a long match. They're doing well. They have a good match. Toni Storm with some offense. Io Shirai gets the near fall. She's the heel here. Io's great as a heel. I'm a huge fan of her. We go to a commercial. We're back, and Shirai has control of Toni Storm. She goes for a victory roll. Toni starts to fight back. She goes for a Storm Zero, but Io blocks it. Toni Storm hits a clothesline for a near fall. Io avoids a clothesline, hits a roll up. Io with a round kick. She goes for a tiger front kick, but Storm blocks it, and Toni drops Io to the floor. She goes to a suicide dive, but all of a sudden Bianca Belair comes out of nowhere, and as Toni Storm's going for a suicide dive, Bianca Belair comes and she cracks Toni Storm on the head with the forearm, and the referee calls for the bell. Toni's out. Bianca, Io's on the ground. Bianca goes after Toni after she's basically helpless. She wants to, go after her for some reason. Oh, actually, she does. She could face Toni Storm. She will probably face Rhea Ripley, but she's going after Toni Storm because she could face her, I assume. After she continues to attack her, she knocks Io Shirai out of the apron. She then hits a butterfly gourd buster on Toni Storm, taking her out. Then Rhea Ripley makes a save for Toni. For her opponent. She wants her 100% probably. Bianca and Rhea get into a fight. Io, however, starts to fight back. She hit the springboard dropkick onto Rhea, and she goes to the floor, and Io moves. Io hits a moonsault onto Bianca and Rhea, taking them down, taking them both out. However, Toni Storm recovers. She hits a suicide dive, taking down Io Shirai. Everyone's down on the floor except Toni Storm. Io's been taken out, Bianca's been taken out, and Rhea Ripley's been taken out. And Rhea Ripley left her tail in the middle of the ring. Toni Storm goes in the middle of the ring and raises the title, and she gets some boos. That was interesting. She got some boos from the fans, and Rhea Ripley's very over, but she raises it, and that sets up Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm this Saturday night. She'll have a great match. We go back to the Undisputed Era, and they're backstage with Kathy Kelly, and she says Imperium wanted to make a statement. Kyle asks if they wanted to make a statement or a stupid comment. It wasn't for Imperium. They would be 2-time winners, and Cole says they need to focus on Keith Lee. So we get that, and they have Ilja Dragunov cut a good promo on Finn Balor. He will face them Saturday night at Worlds Collide. Finn Balor faces Joaquin Wilde. Not much to say here. Balor gets the 1916, gets the win. Pretty decisive squash match. Balor gets it, and we'll see what they have with Dragunov. I'm sure they'll have a very good match. We go backstage with Shayna Baszler. She is interviewed by Kathy Kelly. Shayna is asked about facing Shotzi Blackheart. Shayna says Shotzi thinks she made a statement, but she just ended her career before it started. If she has to go through every girl in the locker room until she becomes Shayna 3 times, it starts with Shotzi. And I have to say, Kathy Kelly also looked great, as usual. I'm a big fan of hers. Then we go to a commercial. Once we come back, we get a DIY video package. Next, we go to Shayna Baszler, Shotzi Blackheart. Really like this. I enjoy this match a lot. Shayna does a very good heel here. I don't know if she's going to be at the Rumble. They're not teasing anything with Becky. It's strange because they would at least mention her. They haven't mentioned the Rumble at all. I am assuming she's going to be there. She's going to be in the match, I think, for sure. I don't know if she's going to win this thing. I don't know. I have no idea. But, it could be a situation where she comes. It's going to be her, Ronda, or Sasha. I think those are the three favorites. For the men, I think it's McIntyre, Reigns, or actually, I think it's between McIntyre and Reigns. I think for the woman, it's Shayna, Sasha, Ronda. So they have a match. They do well. I like Shotzi Blackheart. She's talented. Shayna kicks her ass for else. Shayna's very dominant. Shayna kind of looks at these girls, and she wrestles them in a way that's very boring to people. But, I know, it is boring. Her matches, I hope she doesn't. I think if she faces Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, it's going to suck because it's going to be like a 9-hour show. You're going to have a 9-hour show with Becky and Shayna. It's going to be late in the show. Crowds are going to be so dead. And look what they did last year with Ronda and Charlotte and Becky. I think Shayna and Becky's going to fall bad. I think it's going to be a massive mistake to do it. But Shayna gets her in the feet clutch. Shotzi fights off. She tries to, that she does her best. She holds on as long as she could. She continues to fight. She almost breaks, but Shayna gets it the second time, gets her in the middle of the ring, and eventually Shotzi taps out. However, Shayna refuses to let the hold go. She holds it on. Eventually, Shotzi passes out. She wants to choke her out to make a statement. Shayna with the win. Next, we go backstage. Tegan Knox. Since June 1st, 2001, she's been best friends with Dakota Kai. She was excited Dakota was going to get her chance in World Games, but then something changed. Dakota says Tegan is not as good as she thinks. You didn't have my back. Tegan saw Dakota on the battle royal and she knew she had to be in it. Dakota said Dakota knew that she was not going to be in the match and she wanted to eliminate Tegan, and she will end Dakota and enjoy every minute of it. Dakota says that Tegan is due for another injury, so they good promo by both of them, and good video package, and they face next week. I would think they should have a bigger angle, bigger show, but that's what we get. Next, we go to good video package on Tyler Bate Entrance 7. They face Gargano and Ciampa this Saturday. Angel Garza is asked about his title defense Saturday. Cut the promo on that. That's kind of the least anticipated match for me. Next, we go to the Broserweights. Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle against Fabian Aichner and Marcel Barthur. Good matchup here, went on for a while. I enjoyed it. Eventually, Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle get the win. The Broserweights win. After the match, however, we have Zach Gibson and James Drake come out and start getting in their face. They mock them with the Broserweights. They call them the full sale neck beards. Pete Dunne does. You want they're challenging each other, and eventually they're going to set up the match. And next week we will have to take you out, and we have. I think, you have the Dusty Classic finals next week. And they're doing it good because it's coming off World Collide, so they'll get probably a decent rating. So, two good matches already for next week. But that's your finals. Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle against Zach Gibson, James Drake, Dusty Classic next week. Keith Lee is in the back preparing for his match with Roderick Strong, and this is your main event, the NXT North American Championship. Roderick Strong defends the title against Keith Lee. Roderick Strong was with Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish, and they have a very good matchup here. Surprised how they did it. Keith Lee wins the belt. I was not expecting Keith Lee to win. He won. He beat Roderick Strong. He's now your new NXT North American Champion. He had a good, near the end, you had Strong hit some chops and forearms. Keith Lee, however, hit a forearm and Strong went down. Keith Lee then gets Strong on his shoulders. And Cole, however, gets on the apron along with Fish and Kyle, but Strong hits a jumping knee and a flying boot onto him. He gets a near fall. Keith Lee, however, hits the Big Bang Catastrophe and gets the win, and he's their new champion. And Pyramid shows up at ringside, and they get on the apron. All 8 men are in the ring, and they start throwing punches. Adam Cole gets his ass kicked by Walter. It's huge melee, but Keith Lee, that's the big story. He is their North American champion, and it sets it up. That sets up Worlds Collide. We're all set up. Good card. Probably going to be a great show this Saturday. NXT versus NXT UK, and the Undisputed Era is no longer all champions. See, I was thinking they were going to have the Imperium have all the UK titles, and then the NXT and Unreal have all the US titles. And we're going to have champions against champions. That was going to be the match. They're not doing it this year, but still should be a great show, and I'm looking forward to it this Saturday.